All right. Welcome to the Monday Roast. I am your host, Dave Seybert, and today we're going to be looking at the mushroom coffee category. So we're looking at mushroom coffee. I'm going to be following along on mobile as well because it's important to know your browser display, but it's also very important to know how your product looks on the mobile app. So let's go. We're looking at the browser. This brand that I picked today actually is not showing up on page one. Here it is. Okay, they have their ad right now. It's their sponsored ad. It's called Life Boost Mushroom Coffee. So we've got it right here on mobile as well, side by side. And so first thing we're going to look at is the main image and the title. Anything that we can see in the search results page, because this is what impacts how many people are going to click on it and then how many people are going to convert. So a few things. First of all, let's work through our list. We have our checklist for good listing creative. So I'm going to get that pulled up as well. And we're going to run through the list of which things it hits and which things it doesn't. So for the main image, let's go through this list. We've got high resolution. I would say that's fairly high resolution for that main image, not too bad. White background, they've got that. Color contrast, okay. That's one that they don't have. They don't have a good color contrast. It's hard to read. The black text doesn't really pop very well on that like a beige tan color for their packaging. Next, large readable text. I would say no, they don't have that. So let's go over here to this checklist. So large readable text. No, the only things I can read on this main image is the brand name, Life Boost, and then cognition. I can't even see the keyword coffee, especially on mobile. So that also doesn't check off this next one. Main keywords on the image. I believe they're on there, but they're not readable. So that's not really helping the customer. It takes up the full square. It does as good of a job as it can given the dimensions of the packaging. So I would say it checks that box. Only shows what's included. Yep. Can customers instantly understand what the product is? I would say no. Just if you're looking at the image alone, you cannot understand exactly what the product is. Just because you can't see the keywords mushroom, all you can really see is the brand name and cognition, which doesn't tell you that it's mushroom coffee. Does the image stand out in the search results? If you're scrolling around, I would say Everyday Dose, it stands out. Rise, that stands out pretty well. I would say the Four Sigmatic, that one doesn't stand out too great. VitaCup. I would say no. Comparing it to the other competitors in the search results there, it does not stand out. And then, is the design mobile optimized for the main image? And yes. It is, I would say, as optimized as it can be given the dimensions of the packaging. What I would do, I prefer the straight on with coffee products. I prefer the straight on angle. It makes it a lot more easy to read. I don't think it really does any service having it be that side angle, which a lot of whole bean and ground coffee products do, is this like angled view. I prefer like here, the example with Lucid, even this example with Layered, they're all straight on views. And I prefer that. It makes it easier to read and can oftentimes look better. So showing add-ons, the box, etc. I don't think that they'll have that. I don't think they have add-ons. The only thing that they could do is maybe show that it's powder. If this is whole bean or is it ground? Another thing, I can't tell that, which we're going to dig into the title next. And then last checkbox, does it use digital stickers or hang tags to improve CTR? If your packaging doesn't have a certain keyword on it, but you want to put that in your main image, you can do a digital sticker as long as it's within reason. So going back up to their sponsored ad placement. Let's break down a couple things. And I'm going to pull up the browser side by side so that we can share what it looks like. Oftentimes, some sellers only really look at their products on browser because they're working from their computer. They don't actually check it on mobile as often as they should. So let's do this side by side. We have the mobile recording going, and then we have the browser recording as well. So looking at browser, we talked about that main image. It's hard to see mushrooms plus coffee. Says medium roast ground, but that's very hard to read. Then all the other text below it you can't read it. And I can't even see the quantity of it. So luckily down here, I can see ground and 12 ounce. But if I'm on mobile, I can see ground and 12 ounce a little bit smaller. So it might be something that they should put in the image or in the title. And let's look at their title for a second. So the title reads, Boost Cognition, Adaptogenic Mushroom Coffee, Lion's Mane and Chaga Nootropic Coffee. And then it just says great, and they're starting something else before it cuts off. On mobile, it says Life Boost Cognition, Adaptogenic Mushroom Coffee, Lion's Mane and Chaga Nootropic before it cuts off. So there's a couple things about this. It doesn't read super well. It just seems a little bit more like keyword stuffing versus something that really feels branded, feels quality. Let's compare that versus Everyday Dose, right? Or Rise. So Everyday Dose, let's see how this reads. Everyday Dose Premium Adaptogenic Mushroom Coffee with Grass-Fed Collagen, Chaga, Lion's Mane, and L dash dash dash. That reads much better grammatically and just has a more of a branded feel. And then even 10 Mushrooms Coffee, right? Let's read this one. A mushroom coffee, 60 servings, 10 mushrooms, lion's mane, cordyceps, turkey tail, and other, mixed with gourmet Arabica instant immune boosting coffee for focus and gut health support. Reads a little bit better for sure. It's not perfect. I prefer Everyday Dose compared to 10 mushrooms title, but it does read a little bit grammatically. It reads better. So going back to our audit here, Life Boost. So let's read through that again. Life Boost Cognition Adaptogenic Mushroom Coffee, Lion's Mane and Chaga Nootropic Coffee. This just seems like keyword stuffing. So title needs to be rewritten. And then looking at the rest of the elements on the search results page, they're checking the boxes pretty well. They've got 4.4 stars, 357 reviews. So clearly they've built up a little bit of a base, so that's good. And then, $30 price point. And they've got the subscribe and save discount and an extra 25% off when you subscribe and save. Delivery window is healthy. What I see on mobile, at least for me in Austin, Texas, overnight delivery, which is great. And so the rest of these elements are optimized, but the design is what needs a lot of work. Design and professional copywriting. Now, let's click into the listing on both ends here. Now we get the full title, we get the image stack, we can really dig in here and see what's going on with these guys. And now that we're on the detail page, that main image looks a lot better. You can tell that it's rendered nicely. The bag itself looks pretty nice, right? It shows, pull tab to open, mood, focus, energy, right? And here's what we got. It looks like a nice bag, but I would absolutely adjust this main image, make that text a little bit bigger. Even if you could make it brighter, more contrast, make it pop more, do the straight on angle. Yeah, that main image could definitely be improved. Even showing the ground coffee on the side of it, showing mushrooms coming out from either side of it. Like, there's a lot of things that you can do. If we go back to the main image of one of their competitors here, which was the 11-in-1, let's see if we can grab them again. But you can see this concept here. They've got the mushrooms coming out on the side. Same thing with these guys. And then here's the 11-in-1 mushroom coffee as well. And they put that right front and center. Mushroom coffee, 5,000 milligrams. They've got mushrooms on the side of it. There's no guesswork with these guys. Then when you get to our product, right, Life Boost that we're looking at, you cannot really tell. So they must be relying on the title, just the placement, but they're really not selling themselves for what their actual purpose is. Look at Force Sigmatic, focus, that is the purpose. Look at Mushroom Focus Coffee. Well, VitaCup Mushroom Focus Coffee right there, and then memory and clarity. So they're putting the benefits front and center. And even Everyday Dose, their whole key selling point is like they're better than regular coffee, right? It's coffee plus. And then mushrooms, collagen, etc. And their main image is not Amazon optimized because their brand is so multi-channel. So their branding is very strong and that can carry them. And then even 10 Mushrooms Coffee, they've got mushroom coffee right there in the brand name, but then boost your energy. They have that. And then here, all we really get is cognition. We can't get anything else out of this. The coffee keyword is super small. Mushrooms plus coffee is super small. Ground is super small. So lots of room for improvement with that main image. And the packaging, honestly, I could use a full rebrand. So let's look at this full title. Life Boost Cognition Adaptogenic Mushroom Coffee, Lion's Mane and Chaga Nootropic Coffee, Great Tasting Medium Organic Coffee, Increase Energy, Boost Focus, and Immune Support, 12-ounce bag, ground. Geez, oh man. So that's not a real title. That's not copywriting. That's just stuffing a bunch of keywords next to each other. I would absolutely recommend that they invest in real good quality copywriting, real branding, a brand voice. These things go a long way with Amazon in making you stand out. And this reads just like it's, 4 different keyword phrases stacked next to each other. Now, if we go to the images, first image, this is should be the unique selling point image, the unique selling point number 1. And so this is good. 5 reasons you'll love Life Boost Mushroom Coffee. And so let's see, increase clarity and focus. Okay, so that's the comparison versus other coffee, it sounds like. Increase clarity and focus. Number 2, support healthy immune system with the chaga mushrooms, made in the USA. Level up your coffee. That isn't really a unique selling point. And then empty bag guarantee. Let's see, use the whole bag, and if you don't feel our mushroom coffee, we'll refund you 100%. Okay, so this is kind of like money back guarantee. If you don't like your coffee, we'll give you your money back. So that is something that they can call out. But that's not a unique selling point of the actual product. That's just their brand. They care about customer service, which is important, but shouldn't be front and center. They should put that like a little bit further back in their images. What we recommend for secondary image 1, which I call the core benefit / hook image. So it needs to capture your number 1 unique selling point. And does it do that? If we look at these guys, what is their number 1 unique selling point? And they might not have one. They might just be like another mushroom coffee, but they've got to pick something and sell that really well. And I was looking through their listing. They have a couple of things that are unique about them, which we'll find out later on. But at least for right now, it does not capture the number 1 unique selling point. Does it have a hook or a one-liner, aka some eye-catching coffee that convinces the customer to buy it? Example, it's coffee but better. That's what Everyday Dose says. It's coffee but better. And so that's their hook, their one-liner. So Life Boost doesn't have that. They kind of hit you with that first image of 5 reasons you'll love Life Boost mushroom coffee. That is good, 5 reasons you'll love it, but you kind of want to answer the customer's number 1 question about it. Like, why would I buy your coffee and not another mushroom coffee? Because most likely people getting to this listing are already typing in mushroom coffee and then choosing this one, right? They're not typing in regular coffee and then converting over to buy mushroom coffee. Most likely coffee buyers are coffee buyers and mushroom coffee buyers are going to be mushroom coffee buyers. And so they want to prove that their mushroom coffee is better than other ones, more trusted than other ones, and essentially sell the customer right then and there. And so it's not doing this right now. If we look at the listing, it's kind of customers land on it and then they get hit. Okay, 5 reasons. That's too much, right? And one of these reasons is quality made in the USA. Okay, that has nothing to do with the coffee, right? And I'm sure there's a ton of other mushroom coffee sellers that are also made in the USA. So that's not a sales phrase. Like, this is not a sales image. And then level up your coffee. I just think that's weak. Delicious Life Boost coffee blended with lion's mane and chaga mushrooms. Okay, you already talked about that up here, lion's mane and chaga mushrooms. So you could honestly axe number 3 and 4 and just have this image be all about increasing clarity and focus and supporting a healthy immune system. But you need to speak to the emotions of the customer more, right? So think somebody buying mushroom coffee has probably transferred away from buying regular coffee. And so they may have had the experience of jitters or like your stomach hurts or whatever. And this is the sales image where you hit them right front and focus of just clarity and focus without the crash, right? That's your one-liner. So going back to our framework, right? You need your eye-catching copy, convinces the customer it should be sales focused, right? Everyday Dose says it's coffee, but better. Then you've got some other things on the checklist. This is just easy. Is it high resolution? Yeah, the image is high resolution. Is there a good color contrast? I would say, yeah, it's okay. Like I would say it checks that box. Large readable text, it does not have that, right? There's a lot of characters on this first image. And so it doesn't have that. It doesn't have that like one-liner in large text. And does it have a visual reinforcement of the unique selling point? A little bit, like those little icons they have, where they have a target, they have a heart. It kind of does this, but I wouldn't say that's true, like reinforcement of the unique selling point, because there's 5 different unique selling points in this image, and they need to drill that down to 1, maybe 2 maximum, and then reinforce that visually with emotions. So if you're talking about like, energy all day without the crash, show someone energized, show someone like out in the sun. You got to have that emotion. Right now, most of their images are just stock photos. Like this first photo just kind of shows the product rendering image, and it's just a simple graphic. So, not really doing a whole lot to elevate the brand experience. The design is mobile optimized. You can read it on mobile, so it checks that box. Does it stick to the brand colors, fonts, and style? It does. A short, direct, but catchy tagline. Nope, it is missing this. It doesn't have that. And it doesn't say exactly what the key benefit is. Again, 1 concept per image. We got that right down here. 1 topic per image. Engaging in conversion optimized copywriting. No, it's not really engaging. It's just kind of like standard bullet points. It's not copywriting. And then, is it easy for a new customer to understand? I would say it is. It is easy to understand, but it doesn't sell them. So let's go back to the listing. My recommendation for this, they need to develop a 1 image, 1 concept that is their main sales focus. So I like the idea of increased clarity and focus, because the reason why people would drink mushroom coffee is to get that clarity and focus while not having the crash or having jitters or stomach problems, whatever. But they need to call that out in a simple, concise way. It's very sales oriented and works to elevate the experience of the brand. So next image. This one is just kind of a pretty basic definition photo, right? A unique fusion of cognitive boosting fungi and organic coffee designed to boost your focus, support your immunity, and ensure a smooth, low acid experience, right? And they tell you what's inside: 8 times concentrated mushrooms, lion's mane chaga mushrooms, organically cultivated, naturally grown, and organic Nicaraguan beans. So this is kind of a mix of like a sales definition of what this product is, and also a what's inside image, where it's got the breakdown. It's not the worst, but it is a lot of information when, again, like somebody just needs to be sold to. The customer just needs to be sold to. And so you need to hit them with 1 concept. Right now, this is saying, okay, our coffee is a fusion of cognitive boosting fungi and organic coffee. Okay, that's 1 thing. And designed to boost your focus, that's another thing. Support your immunity, that's another topic. And ensure a smooth, low-acid experience. That's another topic. And then the what's inside that's what's inside. If somebody wants to go and see the ingredients and see the breakdown of mushrooms, that can just be 1 image. But, it's almost like a supplement fact image. And unless something in here is what sets you apart from other mushroom coffees, which maybe that's the Nicaraguan beans. Maybe they need to sell that a little bit more. I don't know what that means. Like when I see, okay, these coffee beans are from Nicaragua, what does that mean? Does that improve the flavor? Does that improve the texture? Is it more natural? I need to know a little bit more about that. And then looking through our checklist, right? So we've got our hook image that we talked about, and then secondary image 2. This should be a supporting feature. So maybe your key selling point number 2, or it would answer a customer's common question number 2, right? Secondary image 1 should answer common question number 1, the thing that people are going to this listing and scrolling through the images looking for. And then if there's a second thing, so let's say we're talking about this mushroom coffee, the first thing they're looking for potentially is, why would I buy this, right? Like, why would I want this versus another mushroom coffee? The second question would be like, what's inside? Maybe what's different? So you have to ask yourself, and part of this ideation process that we use is we say the thesis, right? Come up with a list of the most important questions that your customer would have, assuming that they have never seen or heard of your products before. This concept will be the cornerstone of design and your setup of the listing. And so that's why secondary image 2, that's got to have your supporting features. So does it answer a common question that customers have, or a concern that your customers have? No, it doesn't really answer any questions. This listing kind of this image just tells you what it is. Is the copywriting engaging? Is it conversion optimized? It is very informative, right? A unique fusion of cognitive boosting fungi. Maybe if they broke it down into smaller bits instead of this like mini paragraph, like maybe they could just take that first part of the sentence, a unique fusion of cognitive boosting fungi, or just say cognitive boosting fungi. And that's right, that's your image. And then you can use that as like a more scientific breakdown image. You can use that as like a us versus them of like regular coffee versus coffee, but it should be a lot more engaging. And then yeah, one main call out, they don't have that. High resolution, I mean, kind of, not really. I mean, the image is not very strong. The color contrast is just black on white. It's not like it's not super great. Large readable text, no. One topic or image, no. Mobile optimized design, it's okay. And then stick to your brand's colors, fonts, and style. No, they don't. They kind of went completely off with that next image. It doesn't match the first image with color, fonts, or style. So they didn't check that off. And then is there a visual reinforcement of the unique selling point? Yes, because what they talk about is the fusion, and they say what's inside, and then they kind of just show you a picture of the mushrooms and the beans. So it kind of does that, but it's not a unique selling point about the product. All mushroom coffees have mushroom and coffee. So, and then is it easy for a new customer to understand? Yeah, it's pretty easy to understand. So that's the breakdown on this image. Now let's go over to the next one. This I like. This one I like. This is good. A daily scoop of cognition mushroom plus coffee helps support enhanced mental focus, boost of energy, long-term positive mood. Interesting. I don't really know what long-term positive mood means. The copywriting is okay. I like that it's like a daily scoop because it shows that you should have it every day. But I don't know. This one's not super strong. I do like the colors. It does fit the branding, so they have that. And then it is pretty quick. It is only one topic per image of like, what does this product help do? And it helps enhance mental focus, boost of energy, long-term positive mood. I think it just needs to speak to the customer more. Because if I'm looking at this and I say, okay, what am I going to buy this for? Enhanced mental focus is good. Boost of energy, kind of, it's like the same thing. And then long-term positive mood, I don't really know what that means, I don't think that sells the product super great. I think using the sort of language of like, integrating this into your routine, or like, I like the daily scoop, that's good. And then like, what will you see? There's a good example of a couple brands that do this that I have in our library, where it's kind of like that timeline of like taking this every day, for a week, you'll feel better focus, boost of energy, blah, blah, blah. After a month, you'll see better like digestion, whatever. So that could be a good way to visualize this. But overall, I think this image is pretty good. Let's see how it does in the checklist. So secondary image number 3, we recommend the who's it for. So what is the problem? What is the demographic? So this secondary image would be more like this one here, which is supporting features number 2 or answers common questions number 3. We recommend like a target demographic image to introduce like the problem and reinforce like why people would buy this product, and then what demographics is it for. But let's say secondary image 4, lead with purpose-driven copy. So they say daily scoop of cognition mushroom plus coffee helps support. So our example, ashwagandha gummies for improved cognitive focus. That's pretty good. High impact imagery showing product use in real time. It does not do that. but it is, it's just ground coffee. It really doesn't need to have anything crazy. Should make the customer feel like this specific product is a necessary addition to their life. It's almost there. Maybe with some better rework on this image, it could do that. I highlight the versatility. It kind of shows that it's good for mental focus, good for energy. I would just drill it down a little bit more. What specifically does that mean? A boost of energy. Is it still caffeinated? How much caffeine is in there? Get a little bit more specific on this one. And then there is somewhat of color contrast. It's definitely readable. One topic per image. That's pretty much one topic. So this is a good image. It's mobile optimized, and then offers a clear benefit. I think it offers a benefit, but it's not super clear. Okay, next one. This is their us versus them, but they're actually comparing themselves to regular coffee, which I don't think is that great. Obviously, mushroom coffee has a lot of differences from a regular coffee, and that's why people are searching for mushroom coffee. But this doesn't effectively sell them versus their actual competitors, which is other mushroom coffees. So an us versus them is good. Let's see what they say. Single origin beans, third party tested. Okay. Yeah, that's not really a selling point. Gentle on stomach and teeth. That's pretty good. And then the concentrated mushrooms. It has mushrooms. It's mushroom coffee. Versus their comparison, a regular coffee, it's highly acidic. Okay, not tested for toxins, pesticides, coffee blends. It's a weak image. I would axe it. It doesn't actually elevate the brand in any way. There's a lot of more useful content that you could use and provide in this image. And then experience the Life Boost coffee difference. Yeah, let's talk about how this product is different. So it's premium Nicaraguan coffee. I think that's cool, but I still don't know why that matters. It's low acid, easy on stomach. That's good. And then, non-GMO, third party tested. Okay. And then this is interesting. Sun-dried and spring water. We've got a spelling error. Spring water washed beans. I don't know what that means. What does that mean? Sun-dried and spring water washed beans. Does that help with the flavor? Does that just mean it's more natural? That seems like it could be a very interesting, unique selling point, but we would have to dive into that more. I'm not sure what they mean by that. Then, of course, it has mushrooms. It's organic. It's kosher certified. All right. I like the concept of this image. I think it's trying to get there, of saying, why is this different? But I don't think the copywriting is effectively communicating that in a quick, easy way to the customer, right? Especially on mobile. No one's going to zoom in and read all these little things. All right. Next, we've just got a little AI looking lifestyle image. No comment. Looks like they just ran out of ideas. All right, we've got another one, just the product kind of rendered onto a table with some mushrooms on it. And then same thing. Looks like we just kind of ran out of ideas to put information in here, which is fine. I understand that can happen, but when you're talking about a product that you're going to spend hundreds of thousands of dollars per year in advertising, you need to invest a little bit more in making sure your listing conversion rate is better. Otherwise, you're leaving money on the table and you're just not giving your brand as much life as it deserves. But before we dig into the next steps and my recommendations, let's check the brand story and the A+ content. Okay, so scrolling down on mobile as well. Let's take a look. Okay, so we just have regular A+ content. So part of my recommendation immediately is going to be to unlock premium A+ content and have a professional team design you a brand story and your premium A+ content. Because think about it, you can put an FAQ section in there. That seems like it'll be helpful for this product. You can put a video in there talking about how the product is sourced. Tell me more about that Nicaraguan coffee. Why is that premium? Why does that matter? Tell me more about this spring water washed beans, right? And then we can get a lot more details. But this is pretty wordy, the A+ content. And think about that, on mobile, no one's going to stop and read. If they're down here and they're reading, then you haven't sold them yet. So that means that they're probably going to bounce and go to someone else. So we've got clearly good content, but this needs to be reflected in imagery, simple copywriting that's sales focused. instead of all this written content. Yep, we've got a lot here. And this is good. It's saying how to brew the perfect cup. Nice, taste the difference. Okay, now we're getting some more stuff. High elevation and shade grown, hand washed and hand selected beans. So clearly, this product probably is good. I can't quite tell, but they need to sell that more. Sell that. These beans were shade grown at high elevation. What that means is you're going to get an entirely different flavor profile. Your coffee's going to taste more rich, whatever. Sell it, right? Don't give me the facts. Sell me this product. So, and then know the journey. This is cool. Beyond the bean, the journey behind Life Boost's unique blend of coffee and adaptogenic mushrooms. And there we go. Look at this. Starts all the way from in the volcanic mountains of Nicaragua. This is what I wanted to get 10 years ago when I was first looking at the main image and the secondary images. So it all starts in the volcanic mountains of Nicaragua. Their high-altitude, shade-grown organic beans soak up the perfect conditions for richness and flavor. This is great. This is what we needed to know. Yep, it's all ethical sourcing, nice, sustainable income for the farmers who cultivate them. They need to lean more into that, for sure. Next comes the mushrooms. Okay, they crafted proprietary mushroom mix. Very good. So that's cool. Okay, and then it's precisely combined with our shade-grown low-acid coffee for a powerful yet gentle morning boost. This is great, but like this is the stuff that you need to chop up and turn into like the one-liners. Put some really good images on it. Like I would love to see the volcanic mountains of Nicaragua and the farms that you're sourcing this coffee from. I would like to see that in the listing. Right now, the listing is very boilerplate. You know, a lot of generic images, AI created, nothing crazy. You know, I want to see some real photography and maybe even some social proof. So overall, I would say this listing is at a 3 out of 10. It has a really good base. The product itself seems like it's good, but it just doesn't have any of that professional sales and copywriting. And so my recommendation, we're going to pause down the mobile. So my recommendation is to employ a professional design and copywriting team like what we offer at Amazing Creative. So Amazing Creative is our division that focuses just on designing premium A+ pages. So everything from main image, secondary image, brand story, you name it, brand storefront, everything on Amazon, we design it to convert, right? And because we've seen hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of listings, what works, what doesn't. And so I would recommend that these guys and anyone looking to level up their Amazon design, reach out to us. And you can do that at amazingcreative.com. You can reach out to me via email and you can leave a comment on this post. You can tag someone that if you think their listing sucks. And if you want to get audited, then you can fill out the form attached to this video if you're on YouTube, or if you're somewhere else, find the link in my bio and you can fill out a form to get roasted next. All right. Welcome to the Monday Roast. I am your host, Dave Seybert, and today we're going to be looking at the mushroom coffee category. So we're looking at mushroom coffee. I'm going to be following along on mobile as well because it's important to know your browser display, but it's also very important to know how your product looks on the mobile app. So let's go. We're looking at the browser. This brand that I picked today actually is not showing up on page 1. Here it is. Okay, they have their ad right now. It's their sponsored ad. It's called Life Boost Mushroom Coffee. So we've got it right here on mobile as well, side by side. And so first thing we're going to look at is the main image and the title. Anything that we can see in the search results page, because this is what impacts how many people are going to click on it and then how many people are going to convert. So a few things. First of all, let's work through our list. We have our checklist for good listing creative. So I'm going to get that pulled up as well. And we're going to run through the list of which things it hits and which things it doesn't. So for the main image, let's go through this list. We've got high resolution. I would say that's fairly high resolution for that main image, not too bad. White background, they've got that. Color contrast. Okay, that's one that they don't have. They don't have a good color contrast. It's hard to read. The black text doesn't really pop very well on that like a beige tan color for their packaging. Next, large readable text. I would say no, they don't have that. So let's go over here to this checklist. So large readable text. No, the only things I can read on this